a little bit of off the top here today. Now, we've known for a while that the studios have been looking at doing a Barbie movie for a while. And what's the name of the comedian from Trainwreck again? Fact checker Jonathan? No, the girl.
Amy Schumer?
Amy Schumer, thank you.
Oh.
They were looking for a while about doing a different take on it with Amy Schumer, which, to be honest with you, I was curious about. I think the whole idea about how, because the Barbie franchise and IP has had a degree of, controversy surrounding for a while. That does it create unrealistic image expectations for girls and blah, blah, blah. So they had this notion for an idea, which I thought was interesting, with Amy Schumer in the lead, that she was kicked out of Barbie world because she wasn't perfect enough. Interesting take. Now, apparently they changed directions because then later on they said they were going to go with an Anne Hathaway. Well, you can't do that same story with Anne Hathaway. But then that kind of came and went. Then there were whispers of a Margot Robbie maybe doing it, but nothing ever really kind of materialized. Well, it is now official, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Warner Brothers has finalized a deal with Mattel in partnership with Margot Robbie and her production company, which I believe is called Lucky Fella or Lucky Lad. That's the name of her production company.
How appropriate.
For her to star in and produce an upcoming Barbie film. Now, of course, then the heads of Warner Brother and the heads of Mattel spoke all types of, this is the greatest thing ever. We're so excited about this. Barbie is, Robert, an iconic figure going back. I mean, there are not many toys that are like a G.I. Joe, that are like a Barbie, that have endured generation after generation after. There's a staying power to that. With Margot Robbie attached, a studio like Warner Brothers, Mattel on board, which is an inferior toy company. I have to say that because my wife works for Hasbro. What do you think about this news? Do you think they can make something worthwhile out of a Barbie film with Margot Robbie?
Well, in this day and age, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know. Look, I don't know if you've seen the Netflix documentary series, The Toys That Made Us. If you guys haven't,
fabulous.
The Barbie episode is fascinating.
I've never seen the Barbie episode.
It's really, really good because it talks about not only Mattel as a company, but it talks about how different, how women's rights and how the evolution of Barbie. It's a very interesting story. And from my perspective, I have a long history with Barbie personally, because my sister would get Barbies, and they would make great civilian things like vehicles that my 12-inch G.I. Joes couldn't play in. My favorite thing ever was this 4-story Barbie townhouse that had this string elevator that it could. I can't tell you how many times my G.I. Joes had assaulted that building to save Barbie from various nefarious, scheming villains. And Barbie had a Corvette.
Yeah.
They never made Corvettes or townhouses for men's toys. G.I. Joe had nowhere to live. He had no apartment, and he had like the mobile support vehicle and the headquarters, but where was he going to go to for some R&R when he had some furlough
Where's
time?
he going to watch the football game with his buddies?
In my house,
him and Snake Eyes going to knock back a couple.
In my house, he went to Barbie's Dream House or Barbie's whatever it was.
But didn't we all do that? I mean, look, even in Toy Story, in the beginning of Toy Story, Andy is playing with Sheriff Woody, but they incorporated his sister's toys into that as well. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would have my WWE wrestler figures, but there weren't enough of them to make enough matches. So every once in a while, my Randy the Macho Man Savage figure would have to wrestle, Grumpy Bear from the Care Bear. I mean, that's what we just did, right?
Yeah, and Fembots, $6 Million Man,
yep.
the evil Fembots. I mean, Barbie could be a fembot. Barbie could be a superhero that was in civilian garb. There was a lot Barbie could do when you were a small boy.
But the one thing you mentioned there that I think is really true, I'm not even going to touch that. There's some interesting
Come
things
on now.
you could do. What makes it, the thing you said that is really interesting is it's going to be interesting. How do you approach this today? Because like you said off the top, there is a lot of discussion around, is the Barbie image a good image? I think it is. I know a lot of young girls, my sisters themselves, enjoyed playing with these dolls and things like that. I never saw a lot of negative ramification, but some people raised some valid points about unrealistic expectations of what a woman should look like physically.
Yeah.
And now that you've got a Margot Robbie, quite arguably one of the most stunningly perfect, beautiful human beings on the face of the planet. It will be, clearly they're not going in the Amy Schumer direction with whatever they're doing, so it will be interesting to see what they do from here. No announcement yet as to when they're aiming to get this thing going, but the deal's signed, so they're going to be moving forward with it.